Fireball summer, honeymoon lovers, seeing no colors. Love me all summer, making discovers under your covers. Go off, go off, go off.
Welcome back to Ulti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022. We're in the mixed division for the first time this weekend with Too Many Cooks from here in the Netherlands taking on Colorado from Karlsruhe in Germany. It's Ben Chiri's alongside Christina Obermeier as Too Many Cooks can't make that work on the first possession. Good defense there.
Well done from Karlsruhe to pick that up. Putting pressure on that throw and getting their first opportunity in that together breaking our first point. And they're immediately going to hook it deep to the person that just defended that, and it's floating.
And
good read and out of bounds.
Yeah, made the catch, but it was comfortably out of the sideline.
Just thinking about it. Everyone's calling it out, man.
Yeah, maybe it was discussion about a potential force out, but so Too Many Cooks back on offense. Lee in the center of the park. Towards the far sideline. Rouse. Oh, dump gets absolutely cleared out. There's a foul called. Very hefty collision there.
Discussion is still on as this will be sent back.
Back in for Cooks and turned over immediately anyway. Gola now to pick up for Colorado. Underneath, Wedemeyer. Moore. Breaks it off to Kirchhoff. Swinging back and forth. Looking for an option towards the sideline. Lee is there to bring it back for Too Many Cooks. Thinking about the deep option. It's low, it's flat, and that's not going to be reeled in. So some early turnovers here between these two sides.
I don't know what he saw there. I definitely did not.
You didn't see it?
I didn't.
I must admit, I didn't see it.
No.
But
they're screaming biology. I bet that's a fun set play. Oh, and that's a...
And the option is to immediately shoot deep. Trying to box this one out on the far sideline. It's caught, but it's not in the end zone. Gorenflow want to put a high one over the top, and Colorado eventually reel it in through Moritz Rentfel. Rentfler, thank you. Oh yeah, they're the other way around. Anyway, regardless of how you pronounce his name, which is obviously how Christina pronounced it, it's 1-0 to Colorado.
Ah, don't worry, German is really hard.
Yeah.
that was crazy. Really didn't see any of those things happening.
No, it's been. Looks like both teams are more than happy to put it deep early.
Yeah, works for me. More highlights, loads of fun stuff going on.
I mean, hopefully, yes. We shall see.
So whenever they're calling biology or biologie, they're gonna put it deep or put it to this combination of players. We'll see. We'll watch out for you to.
Why is there a copy of the
that.
highly selective thesaurus for the extraordinarily literate in front of me?
I don't know.
Is someone suggesting something?
Well, it's not mine, so.
Okay, we'll get to the bottom of this mystery at some point.
Pull lands at the brick mark.
Second offensive point for Too Many Cooks. First one did not go their way, and they're switching pretty much everyone over. Looks like they've got a large roster this weekend, Too Many Cooks, so making use of all of that. Oh, can he come around the far side and nick it away? I thought he'd done enough, but apparently not.
Good composure there from Too Many Cooks player, but throws it away immediately.
Karlsruhe looking deep again. This looks like a brilliant put. Chasing it down just shy of the end zone is Müller. And then flipped in for the goal. Another break for Colorado, taking an early 2-0 lead.
Yeah, that was very easy. Müller open on that deep throw, and then just quick pop in between the women. What I really love about Colorado is that they're using their women, putting it out to space for them, and then not clogging them, but trusting them to get it done.
So Windmill is using the prescribed gender ratio. So you on the toss you flip, and the winner chooses what the gender will be. The gender ratio will be for the first point, whether it's for male matching or for female matching players. After that first point, you switch to the opposite. 2 points later, you switch back, and then so on and so forth. Also called the ABBA rule. And Windmill is also using prescribed pullers. So the dominant gender on pitch will also pull.
I love that. Love the gender pulling rule, because I'm a good puller myself, if I might say so. And I love to not having to fight for my right to pull.
Yeah, I also think people often think about pulling as just bang it as far as you can, but you can be a bit more creative with it.
Hang time is so important as well, not only position.
Yeah, maybe you want to pin someone on the sideline, get a roller. It's interesting. Here we go, down the far sideline. Too Many Cooks trying to get their first hold on the board. Floated over the top, and it's too far. Just drifted away. I thought for a second there might have been an opportunity for the layout, but was never able to catch up to it. And another turn for Too Many Cooks.
It looks like Too Many Cooks are trying to jump on that hucking wagon of Karlsruhe, but just not executing it as precisely.
And that is a pick. People who are Windmill veterans may recognise a number of players on TMC because a lot of them have volunteered or crewed, TD'd for Windmill in the past. Karlsruhe back on offense. Just about squeezed that off to Young. Young downfield. Oh, a little tip there. Did just enough to take it out of the receiver's hands. Maxim Oldenbeek was the defender.
Miscommunication there for Ranftler, who maybe didn't see the other player also in that space, but I'm not so sure for whom that disc was intended initially.
So Floride brings the disc in. Now reset off. Playing in the backfield at the moment. Looking for options. Very wicked low release. And into the end zone for the goal. Too Many Cooks get their first point of the game. Van Leer with the goal. Which one? Yes, they are. Both of the Lineker sisters, Iris and Annie, on the roster. Yep, I believe you.
Saying that with as much confidence as I can bring up. They're twins.
Yes.
Keep them apart.
Are they identical twins?
I don't know. don't know them well enough. I've never introduced myself.
You don't really see that many identical twins in Ultimate, but I know that they do exist.
Yes, they exist, Benji. They're not just Smith. They're not one player trying to get more playing time by switching jerseys every now and then.
Here we go, ball goes up for too many cooks. This is actually the first time Colorado are starting on offense. Wanted to open up the O-line early. Looking deep, can it be chased down into the end zone? Oh, that puts a thing of beauty right into the hands of the Spirit captain, Lisa Kuchel. It wasn't it? It was brilliant, on the money.
I can't even say anything. That was just the perfect throw. Isolating, so what I really love about this is isolating a woman, making sure no other help defender can come up there, grab that disc instead of her. Just so much space putting that disc up there, and then it's just stood up there for so long. Look at that.
Yeah, got that isolation to work really nicely out of the side stack. And then the only question here is she going to catch it in the end zone? And a little bit of room to work with just before she meets the sideline. Precision.
I knew Colorado was good. They already played at Worlds in 2018, but they've really stepped up their game, including their women. I'm so impressed. I don't really know what else to say.
It wasn't bad, were it? Wasn't bad at all.
Unfortunately, the player who threw that is not
the mysterious Anonymous. No release. And Salis. Now underneath. Crossing the halfway line. It's another rushed put from TMC. They've had this a few times. They clearly want to open up that deep game, but they haven't found the range on it at all.
Yeah, and they're also putting it in tight spaces.
They're not giving themselves a lot of margin for error.
The thing you don't want to do what you do immediately is comparing the two teams when putting up this. And what Team C does is putting it into a very tight space, whereas Colorado is putting it into the other side of the field, like another third of the field, doing it forward now. And that's a layout. Coach block from Salis.
So Salis steals the disc back. Rice in the backfield. All this is going to float. Gobbled away by Colorado, by Redfield. It's that I'm struggling with. Redfield. God, that is difficult.
Yeah, I don't blame you. He's just going to be happy he was highlighted at some point.
That's
roller.
Yeah, awkward looking grab, but Gola makes it anyway. Severin. Wants to float the break into space. Oh, it died a little bit there. You can see the wind beginning to pick up ever so slightly. Pick in the backhand. Fuchs just about gets that one off. TMC defense is putting a really smothering coverage in so far. It's a real grind, this possession, for Colorado, and eventually it works because their throw's just too far out in front and they don't have the energy to bring it in.
They were really good at being patient and throwing it with the handlers, but now this throw just pushed it too far. And TMC got another opportunity.
Low release, sideline to Salis. Salis puts it again, it's down that sideline, but this time, is it caught? Players calling it out.
So there will be a bit of
We'll have a look at it again on the replay. Again, it's these tough sideline shots. Can't get a good angle of it.
Do you think he could have? I think he might have been able to toe that disc in if there was not some. See the sideline with 10%. Good grab anyway.
Very much so. So the offense is looking nowhere near as clean for too many cooks as it is for Colorado, but they're hanging on in there.
Yeah, but they just have to stay tight.
Yeah, with these games, of course, when the hooter goes, you finish the point and that's it. You really can't afford to let your opposition get too far out in front. Underneath pass. Very congested, need to break it off that line. The inside backhand is a nice way of doing it. Voss, back into the backfield. Again, that inside backhand, brilliantly thrown, on target to Breitzman. Voss wants the around, but doesn't see it. Goes inside instead. Low, zipped in there. Weiss. And the tip in the block from TMC.
Really being frustrated because she was so getting that disc. I found out who number 36 is, if you're interested.
Yes.
His name is Fiona. Good pressure, Colorado.
Yeah, they get the disc back in relatively short order. Voss. Nice little toe in on the far side. Looking, this throw floats a little bit off target, and too many cooks knock it to ground. Some offensive kinks early on from both sides.
Yeah, they're really good with that deep game, but the undershots are not on point, as on point yet, as they might like, Colorado's side.
This one ripped deep again down that far sideline. Leung is going to try and chase it, but she can't catch up to it.
I thought she had a shot on that, as it just got a bit slower approaching the end zone, but just too far out in front.
Yeah, just didn't quite ease up enough at the end. Also, I'm just noting on the rear of the TMC jerseys at the bottom, it says a recipe for disaster. They'll be hoping not in terms of results at any rate. Foul downfield. Voss goes off, and it is ripped deep. Oh, it looks like being another brilliant put once more. This Karlsruhe deep game is deadly accurate for 4-2.
Even though the cut was off, in my opinion, too late and a bit too deep as well. But being able to get that to his receiver there without anyone else challenging it. Look at that step around. And as a lefty, he's a bit fortunate with stepping out later, because you would expect him to step out the other way with his defender as well.
Well, he's cheating, isn't he?
Is he? Yeah.
Everyone knows that being left-handed is cheating.
100%.
Our scorekeeper next to me is nodding sagely in agreement.
I want to become a lefty. If I ever told you that, Benji. Been working on it.
Yeah, I do see you practice those lefties quite a lot, actually.
Just so much better.
So 4-2 Colorado lead. First game of Swiss draw here at Windmill.
For the mixed division. They seem quite evenly matched.
Yeah, which is you're never quite sure, because the first matchups are based on the results of the prediction contest. As that throw is a little bit too far out in front for TMC. Van Sprang can't snag it. And, ooh, that is a rarity, actually. Goes to make the crab catch in front, and Ver just completely doinks it. TMC coming out back on offense now. Going towards this sideline. Van Sprang finds a centering option. Vahai. Low, but caught. Brouwer. Oh, this is going to float. It's Macked on. And Macked out of the sideline. Thought maybe they were going to get a second chance at it. But in the end, there's no space to work with.
See that? Unfortunate, but Colorado with an opportunity to score another break. Or
down the sideline is Zugschwert. Tapping the disc off. Looking for options, coming underneath. Gola goes to Kednaker, who's rocking some very stylish looking windmill shorts.
You got a pair yet, Benji?
I have more than enough Frisbee kit to be getting on with, especially now that we've got an extra volunteer shirt this year. So I'm trying to be sensible, which I know doesn't sound like me. This one's taken away by TMC.
Run through defense.
Aris Linenga goes underneath. Van Oldenbeek. TMC trying to find a little bit of flow and a little bit of rhythm now in this offense. Looking over the top once more, but it's too far. And it hits the turf. They haven't really found the range on those slightly longer options.
Yeah, the wind is also a bit weird right now, coming from different angles at times, and I think timing those throws to your receivers is getting harder and harder.
Disc brought in for Colorado, and there's going to be a timeout here. Team's taking an opportunity to take a breather. We'll do the same in the booth, but we'll be back with you very shortly.
Connor. Yes, Connor. Have you signed up to the Fox TV page yet? No, not yet. Why? We best get on it before London Invite. We've got 16 of the best men's and women's teams from around Europe, and it's the last stop before Worlds, and it's only $3.50 a month. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll get on it late. It's on the right tab for me.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. LTV. LTV.net.
So loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can find them on Ultical.
Welcome back to Ulti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022, first round of Swiss draw for the mixed division. Colorado Karlsruhe up 4-2 here on Too Many Cooks, looking to get another break to extend their lead, and they want to do it with the deep put. Can this be read? Oh, it was right there, and just completely got the catch all wrong.
In and out of his hands. Unfortunate, but good coverage there from two TMZ players underneath that disc.
To make it as difficult as possible, and obviously they did the job, because for one reason or another he was put off enough to not make the catch. Down the sideline. Now going a little bit more central again. Too Many Cooks trying to keep the disc moving relatively quickly, because where they struggle tends to be when the disc stagnates slightly.
So much traffic. Not a clear structure from Too Many Cooks here. Gets off that reset though. But no one cutting out. Did he get the gainer?
Threatening the inside flick, wants to shoot it into the center of the end zone. Enough pressure on it from Colorado to make sure that it went to the floor.
Disc in the field, that's why everyone stopped for a second.
Good spot. Colorado, well, they want to chuck it again. This time they're looking for Gola. Can he track it towards this sideline? Not quite.
Right now, Colorado seem like a one-trick pony.
They do a little bit, don't they? They've flattered to deceive after they looked really good early on. They've come off the boil somewhat. Disc brought in. Iris Leung wants to zip it deep, but the only player there is on the other side.
Beautiful shot though.
Feels like a high stall throw, that one. Just put it out into space, put it deep, see what you can get, and unfortunately for that time couldn't get anything. But it's a grind for Colorado. They're not seeing any good offensive options. High stall towards the sideline for Gola.
Decides not to put it deep this time. Very open player on the open side.
What an undercut. Created so much separation. Defender sold all the way down the river, and another drop. This time it's Ketnacker who can't reel it in. Some definite sloppiness out there from Colorado now. Broken into the center of the pitch.
They're pushing players to stay with their opponents, not poaching off, but playing person defense, and that's a hug up into space.
And well defended by Colorado. So both teams still want to keep taking these deep shots, and neither side is really able to connect with them.
This is a messy point.
Yeah, you could say that. I bet the 14 players out there secretly wishing I just want it to end, don't matter for who, because want to get some fresh legs out there, especially in this sweltering temperatures.
Playing a split stack, Colorado looking for a deep shot. I bet.
Yeah, Kirchhoff comes underneath, goes central, and he's got the disc back in his hands now. Trying to switch to pass players off. And now here's the deep shot coming from Colorado. Is it going to keep the edge and come back in bounds? I don't think it is. I mean, the catch was made, but I think he and everyone else in the Netherlands knows that that was not going to be in bounds.
Yeah, off by too much. Trying to toe something. Don't know what he was trying to, but good grab.
Just good practice in it.
Yeah.
I guess.
True.
Maybe he was looking at the sideline of the warm-up field.
Yeah, well, that would have been an unnecessary toe, because that's meters off. Just as far as the end zone line would have been.
Let's head back for TMC. Too Many Cooks. Oh, brilliant blade over the top to open up the space on the far side of the field. What can Too Many Cooks do with it? Central. Looking for a big gain at downfield. Oh, the focus, the intimidation D just flashed across the field of vision. The receiver lost it at the crucial moment.
Well, they've at least worked it up the field a bit, Colorado. Halfway now.
Yeah, you feel like something's going to happen soon. Nice undercut there, comes all the way across the field from Ilona Vore.
It looks like players are gassed and in the right moment, just getting a bit of energy to run through and get that D. Colorado player didn't even expect someone to kind of test that, but it's another opportunity for a TMZ.
We have exclusive news on the next games that we're going to stream as well.
Oh, do tell.
I will tell you after this point.
Good call.
Down the sideline! The hell point is over. Too many cooks eventually hold for 4-3.
I bet TMC heard that you were going to announce some news and wanted to finish that quickly.
Yeah, they're keen to know the news as well. So, Field 5. We will have women's division action. Netherlands United up against the women's side from the Amsterdam Ultimate Club, so a lot of Dutch flavour in that matchup. On field 6 here in the open division, we've got Guayota from Tenerife in Spain up against Devon from the UK.
Oh, that's some great matchups. Sounds like.
There we are, you can see it on the screen, in fact. That was... that's the previous round of games. They'll be put through, we'll get them through shortly, just a confirmation of that.
So do you think that flow, that started flow for TMZ now, at that point?
I'll be honest, I don't know how optimistic I am. Given that generally it's been a bit of a struggle. But there's going to be a turnover on the sideline, so maybe a chance for too many cooks to instantly prove me wrong.
Yeah, just so that was a bit too far out in front, too low from Voss. Couldn't be ruled in, and that's a throw out the sideline. It's never going to go back in. Starting from an unfavorable position on the sideline with the wind picking up here. So we got a upwind, downwind situation now coming from the left to the right side of your screen. Voss with the disc. Faking his handler. Does not have a good option, but goes inside the lefty. Great grab and up the line, fakes it off. Takes a second option up the line, just in front of their end zone now.
Can they keep focus when this close to the goal line? That one's floated towards the far sideline. Breitzman makes the catch just about in bounds, and then first pass from there into the end zone. Lisa Kirkle with the goal. That'll make it 5-3 for Colorado.
You can see why they're their own line. That was smooth.
It was a lot cleaner, wasn't it?
Definitely was.
I think for everyone's benefit.
Yeah, they stopped doing those opportunistic deep shots and decided to play ultimate.
Very novel concept.
So Colorado is preparing for Worlds, I believe, in Cincinnati this year.
I believe that's correct. That's correct.
Do you know whether TMZ is going as well?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't think so. But I'm happy to be proven wrong.
High throw, Wooden, but Team C. Looks like they're playing a zone.
Yeah, something a little bit different this time from the Germans. The wind picking up ever so slightly, and I must say that I'm very glad that it is, because it's very refreshing. Maybe it will cause a bit of a problem. Anik Lienga, where the hammer over the top is out the far side. They'll get it right on the goal line here.
And they're trying to put it in there quickly, and they do, and that's a break for Colorado, and they didn't even have to work for that hard.
Yeah, Blinken, you'll miss it stuff there. Colorado, Karlsruhe breaking to go 3 points up at 6-3. About halfway through this game time-wise as well, just creating a little bit of separation between them and their opponents.
Beautiful hammer, but just too far out in front. You can see that once again, and I love a quick pickup.
Just strike while the iron is hot. Take advantage of the fact that your opposition's probably not ready.
Especially when you're playing a zone and you have an uneven number of people.
Yeah, players aren't it. If you're transitioning from playing match defense, then often it becomes a case of, well, I'll just take the person who was marking me. But with zone, it doesn't work like that, because you're not marking someone in that same sort of style.
Especially in the mixed division. You add an extra of gender matchups.
That is very true.
Paul goes out the side by just a bit.
So Paul's going to be brought in at the brick mark.
Looks like Colorado is staying with that zone.
Yeah, it's say at least with that distinctive panelled hat. We'll bring the disc in.
Quick work from TMZ through that zone. They figured it out quite easily now. The middle is too open, in my opinion, and they're just in front of the end zone, putting it in. What is that?
Wow, too many cooks. Absolutely sliced and diced their way through that one.
Yeah, that was amazing. Just great work.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure Colorado was covering the right people at all times.
No, given how well the zone worked on the previous possession, it's kind of a surprise to see it be so emphatically pieced apart.
To be honest, Benji, it depends on who's on. I know there's handlers that can handle different zones better or worse, and then if you put a new line after being broken, and these players handle zones differently or better, you would immediately have a very different result, as we saw here, because there was the other handlers, point before, were really static about it, and now these handlers are very active and actively taking the small passes that were given by the defense.
keeping the stall count low, constantly pinballing it around, not giving the defense really a chance to get set.
It's just two different ways to approach a zone, and TMZ has tried both and can obviously see which one worked better against this. The zone that Colorado put up. Oh, beautiful pull in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, deciding rather than potentially dropping it, decides to let it fall to the floor before picking it up. And this will pen Colorado in deep in their own territory. Break towards the far sideline is complete. Low towards the ground. Colorado still playing with fire a little bit towards their own end zone. Can they stay patient? Over Muller. High release. Frees up the handler. This one floats a little bit, but not a problem. And now here comes the deep put. Jacked once more. I thought maybe it was a little bit of a misread, you have to say. Got suckered by the defender into coming too close underneath the disc.
And just out of her hands, she had her hands around the disc, just smacks it on.
can have a player from Too Many Cooks just take an injury sub.
A player from Colorado also getting off the field.
Yeah, taking the opportunity to switch that match up, get some fresh legs on.
Probably just didn't want to play defense.
I mean, I can't blame them in this weather.
Yeah, true. Well, they're here to play Ultimate, though.
Who comes to a Frisbee tournament to play Frisbee?
Well, we don't, Benji.
Well, no, I don't think I've done that in many a moon.
That's not true. We played a tournament together.
That's indoors,
Rather
it doesn't
recently.
count.
Okay, fair enough.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Here's Rouse, breaking towards the far sideline. Celis. Centering past to Florine. Ooh, a little bit of a fumble, but not a problem. And absolutely boomed out of the hands. This is going to be a massive humanity underneath it, and in the end, the winner is Lee. For Too Many Cooks, he's able to tow it in at the back for the goal. I thought for sure that it was going to drift out too far, but in the end, it was weighted brilliantly.
Yeah, well done from Too Many Cooks. Blown coverage on the Colorado side. So just 3 Too Many Cooks player and 1 Colorado player underneath that disco. Great grab there, and immediately jacks it deep.
Yeah, just gets that edge on it, puts it high into the Amsterdam sky.
Look at that, no defender near. Oh, that's not actually true, there's a Colorado defender. Just 1, but 3.
Do you fancy having a go on that little obstacle course behind those pitches?
Haven't gone yet.
I'm not sure I will, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. It's in the sun. I'm trying to stay in the shade and chill out.
What about the other extracurricular activities Windmill has to offer? Will we be seeing you in the beer race?
Nope. Pulling competition though. I'll be part of that.
Yeah. What about the mingle?
Let's see how that evening goes. Or the day, rather. See how much energy I can spare from mingling.
There's always energy for mingling. That's what I've found.
We'll see. I won't make promises. Huge pull from TMZ.
Yeah, just drifts back towards them a little bit. Now it's fielded by Colorado, looking for an option. Has to float that into the middle of the field. Well read by the defender. Poached off to sit right in that space. Waters. Swinging to the poached handler on the far side. Hammer, huge hammer over the top. Coming down with snow on it and defended. There's a little bit of a collision afterwards. But turnover stands.
That was a very risky shot. Let's see how Colorado change up their offensive play after getting that disc back.
That was the disc for Too Many Cooks with a chance to bring us level. Instead, it's back in the hands of Colorado, who are putting it deep and putting it out of the sideline.
They haven't really taken that risk too many times in the last few points, and that wasn't necessary either, my opinion. If you want to hear it, I'm gonna tell you
Like
anyway.
it is. Yeah. Faking down the sideline. Instead, furrowing the inside channel. Ahoy. Goes through. And put deep. Can they catch up to it? It's going to be a bit of a chase. Not in the end, actually, because Kevin Waters had so much juice. Caught it easily, and Too Many Cooks break to take us level. Still 1 breakdown having received to begin this game, but they are at least level on the scoreline. It's 6 apiece.
That was a beautiful shot. I thought it was going to be too zippy as well, but just the right amount of touch to put your receiver into a position where the defender had no chance whatsoever to get there. But from Colorado, I think they feel a bit too comfortable. They started out very well, but then they're playing set plays and not looking whether the defense actually changed anything in their positioning. We've seen Too Many Cooks poach off defenders rather, And they're just not looking at poaches. They're just putting it into defenders.
Yeah, locking onto their targets a little bit and not seeing the field as a whole, perhaps.
Especially when you're playing a split stack, what they did a couple of times. Now you have to watch the other side of that split stack. If you isolate 2 players, you can not only watch those 2 that are actively doing something, but you have to integrate the other side of the pitch as well.
Another big pull from Too Many Cooks. Ooh, thought about catching it, left it because he decided he wasn't comfortable, and it lands right at the back of the end zone. Another brilliant pull from TMC. This one floats off the fingertips. Gross makes sure to knock it to the turf.
Unfortunate now. The momentum definitely on TMZ's side as they're on their own brick knock.
Florine. Maybe wants that reset to Salis, uses the lefty just to dish it off. Wants to feather that flick in there. Oh, it's just going to pop up. Tips it over the bar, but can't bring it in. So Jung now, putting it deep. But Colorado streaking towards the end zone, too far out in front of the target, Moore.
Great use of open targets, but just too much. Throwing it a bit too early. Unfortunately for Colorado, they have to get that disc back if they want to score. And I think they do.
It's a decent gainer to begin the possession here for Too Many Cooks. This one always going to pop out and can't be reeled in. Lizzie Meyer was the intended target. Could only get her hand to it, but couldn't get it to stick in those fingers. Golden flow. It's Colorado again, just trying to find the rhythm that they had early in this contest. That's a beautiful inside break though to open things up a little bit. And he's going to try and frost this flick over the top. Weighed it perfectly in the end. A very unorthodox look, but you can tell there the trust between thrower and receiver as Colorado take a 7-6 lead.
I gotta say, they got really lucky, and I'm not a fan of that. I mean, they scored, and it was a good goal. But I know they connected, but before getting that throw off, the thrower didn't even look whether other defenders or receivers were in that area. Putting that throw up, there was two defenders on the TMZ side already in that space, and I know the receiver in the end is a head taller than everyone else, but there was still a lot of people in that space. They didn't clear it out for him.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Not ideal. I don't know how to better explain that I am not happy with this. But it makes for a fun goal, so I'm okay.
Here's the thing. If you see those shots and you take them and they work, you're like, oh, it's just precision throwing. But if you take them and they don't work, it's bad decision making.
Yeah. I think it's bad decision making regardless, but that's just me.
Yeah. It's about separating sometimes the process from the result. Just because something works doesn't necessarily mean that it was good.
They're back on the zone now, Colorado.
Iris Leinenga wants to break that through with the blade. Underthrown. Colorado will have the disc with a chance to take half. Kirchhoff picks up. Lovely backhand sat out into space for Kirchhoff to run onto. She's going to shoot deep, looking for Perrine Moore towards the back of the end zone. Just too much on it. And there's a TMC defender there. Just snaffle it away, just to make sure that there's no chance of the score to take half.
Good throw into space, just a bit too far out in front. And
zone comes back on from Colorado. Can the Dutch this time find a way through it? De Gruns leaking out of the backside here. Just trying to occupy that player deep. Now they've got that split. They can find a way to get the disc to this near side. A player's open in acres of space. Blade over the top again. Continuation, pop through. The two Leunangers looking to combine. Again, just, that's very vertical, that release. Almost comes out like a knife. Oh, cheeky little hammer over the top, finds Lee. Zipped down the sideline, and De Groen drops the catch.
Well, that's the problem with those zippy throws. Either got them right on it, but they're really hard to catch. And you can't really float them in because there's a defender there near you.
Yeah, I think that one defender receiver would probably want back, but it doesn't matter because they'll get it back as Colorado can't do anything.
Well, that's a bit rude.
Annie Glinenga to her twin Iris. Blade over the top, no, not this time. Going to go with a high release to the front of the end zone. Well, there's a couple of players there. Take your pick for who scores. Either way, TMC will take us to Galaxy Point at 7-all.
Oh, we love a good Galaxy Point. Very
Did you get one in your last game?
No, we did not.
Oh, I must have brought it over with me.
Oh, did you have one the last game? Nice.
Those of you unfamiliar with the concept of Galaxy Point, Universe Point is when it's sudden death to win the game. Galaxy Point is like that, but just kind of smaller. Sudden death to take half. For Colorado, this is a chance because I think they're receiving to begin the second half. They've got the old 2 for 1 if they want it, or 2 for none, I guess. Could score on this possession here. Half time they receive. You get 2 possessions without your opponent having a shot.
Well, I agree. Yeah.
Big if, though.
Big if. That's what I wanted to say. This game has been very messy so far. So one possession might not be worth as much for both these teams. Have to grind it out. What's your call, Benji? Colorado or TMZ?
I think just because they're coming out on offense, you probably have to give it to Colorado. But you're right, neither side has looked at their fluent best. Well, that one's floated over the top. Opportunity of a rescue, no. Both sides struggling a little bit with the slightly variable wind, I think.
Yeah, just tiny miscommunications and overthrown receivers.
Celis brings it in. Wants to free the dump, but it's not there. High stall, zips it down the sideline. Van Olderbeek floats this, looking for Lee. Makes the catch for the break for Galaxy Point. Defender tried to make himself big, but never really located the disc, and that made his task so much harder.
I didn't really see that either, where the disc would land, and he tried his best.
Wasn't good enough. Not on this occasion anyway. Sometimes just by, making yourself a nuisance, you can get a little tip without kind of necessarily expecting it, or you can do enough to put the receiver off, just kind of flash across the field of vision, distract them slightly, but not on this occasion. Lee making the catch for the 8-7 halftime lead for Too Many Cooks. We'll take a little bit of a break to get some water on during the halftime, but we'll be back with the second half very shortly. Welcome back to Alti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022. God, it's been so long since we've been here in Amsterdam, a full 3 years, but it is lovely to be back. Benjamin Rees alongside Christina Obermeier. Half-time, first round of the mixed division. Colorado Karlsruhe down, I should say, 8-7 to Too Many Cooks. So we're on upset alert here. Colorado Karlsruhe seeded 10th by the people at the prediction contest. Too Many Cooks coming in at 30. And so far, TMC just edging this contest 8-7. So it just goes to show that you can never trust what people think.
Nope, never do.
No.
There's
Good.
a saying in German.
Yeah?
There's a similar one in English. Reden ist Silber, Schweigen ist Gold.
Yeah.
Never say anything. You don't want to.
Oh, it's better to have people think you a fool than to open your mouth and confirm it.
Yes.
I see. So it's a good job that we don't talk at all. Oh, right, I see.
Good
Yeah.
job. It's not our jobs to
No.
talk for a living.
Just get around that by always being right. That one really lasered down the sideline, and by the time the receiver saw it, it was already too far.
Yeah, just taking opportunities there that aren't really presenting themselves. I feel like Colorado are rushed, but I don't know why, because nobody's actually pushing them. There's always free people.
Pressure, maybe. Nice little bit of footwork there to keep themselves in bounds. Travel called. Doing a little travel dance.
Yeah,
Luke Sevenheisen have to re-put his feet back in the correct position.
Yeah, he caught the disc, got out of bounds, and then went in bounds at another point. So he has to establish position where he first touched.
Swing goes to Rice. Oh, cheeky scuba. Well reeled in, looking very indoorsy, that one. Sevenheisen. Just goes towards the near side. Hummel breaks around, floats that one for Rice. And uncharacteristically, throws that one straight in the turf.
That's not ideal.
Unusual, at the very least.
So Colorado gets another opportunity in O.
Nice little lefty to release the other handler. Breitzman swings. Central, a little no pivot backhand out into space on the far sideline. Lisa Kirkle downfield. Colorado playing things a little bit slower. Now shooting for the end zone. That was so much smoother when they just stayed patient with it, played nice, simple ultimate. Didn't seem like they had a problem.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said before. They don't have to push it. They have so many different opportunities. And pressure from TMZ is here, but it's not intense. They can always run around it. They just have to use their legs a little more instead of trying to force shots that might be there but aren't there 100%.
Yeah, both of these sides have had those passages where they've looked really smooth, really fluid, like they've got a handle of everything. And they've also had games. They've also had points in the game where they look like they've never played with each other before. It's all very strange,
Yeah.
but maybe not unexpected for the first round of a tournament when, even if you have played together a lot, sometimes it does take a little bit of time to find that rhythm, especially if you're making most of the Windmill festivities.
Do you think they are?
I can almost guarantee you that Too Many Cooks, as a team that comprises a lot of former Windmill crew and volunteers, is almost certainly absolutely making the most of that.
Well, I actually thought you were talking about Colorado, and since they're German...
Colorado, they might well have been.
Fair enough. What a pull.
I don't know what time whether they'd have got in here yesterday or come this morning. I imagine they'd have probably I mean, you're coming to Windmill. If you're not making the most of everything that's going on, all the extracurriculars, I don't know what you're doing. As Annie Klinge goes to ground and keeps it alive. Faking the flick, instead zipping it through. Rising a little, but not a problem. Sailors wants the over the top. Instead, they find that little thread through. Too many cooks shredding this and now shooting for the back of the end zone. And just too much on it. Rose at the wrong moment and out the back.
Zipping it through there. Just not enough love and touch on that throw.
Yeah, slightly lacking in finesse.
Beautifully put, Benji.
I try my best.
Colorado setting up again in that split stack. But see how they're poaching off quite a lot. Because they already know only one side is moving.
Yeah, just trying to make it obvious who's being active so they don't clog each other up. And now here's the deep put. It's going to go deep all the way. They get a little bit of a height mismatch there, and they capitalise on it. It's our old friend Moritz Remftler.
Remftler. We're working on that.
Yeah, Remftler.
But that was good, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the first time he early on in this game felt like he was having a big presence. That's dimmed a little bit, but maybe if they can get him going again, that'll really power Colorado Karlsruhe's victory here. They've taken the lead now at 9-8.
They've been a bit more sporadic with their deep shots, taking opportunities that really are here, not pushing it. That's why you can see that.
Yeah, there's not an awful amount of time to make, you know, potential huge tactical adjustments at half time, but sometimes you can get the basics through, you know, like don't put it deep so often, take a breath when you've got the disc, little things like that. Just try and impress your style of play back on your teammates.
It's really hard to do that. Remember all these little things when your pulse is really high and it's hot.
It is, and I don't think we're stressing this enough. It is scorching.
It's going to be the same in Cincinnati, though, so good thing to prepare
Potentially,
now.
yes, yeah. It is, as you mentioned, good preparation for World Clubs in Cincinnati next month. TMC faced with the zone from Colorado, trying to play through it quickly. Already there, what, 2/3 of the way down the field. About level with the Herbie-shaped brick mark, which is a nice little touch. Well, that looks easy. 9-all.
Yeah.
Again, we've mentioned this before, there are times when everything just clicks, everything works. And there are other times when they don't seem to be on the same page at all. But that time, they absolutely shredded the Karlsruhe zone. And it's not the first time that they've done that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about why Colorado is still playing that zone, since the last 3 points it didn't really work that well. They didn't put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, with 5 minutes left in this game before cap comes on.
Well, it's
rough, give or take.
It's an evenly matched game.
Yeah, it really could go all the way down to that last point. And obviously, with Swiss draw, in order to improve your rankings coefficient, you've got to see if you can pilfer as many points as possible. Even if you're blowing a team out, or you know things are really going against you, every point can be valuable, because teams can and have missed the bracket on a single point before.
Happened to me once, to my team in 2019.
Yeah, so there you are. Here is living proof that it happens.
Beautiful flow from Colorado.
Still count rising a little bit here. Would have preferred to properly square up and activate that dump, but they get the pass off. On the sideline, bings that flick deep towards the back of the end zone. Goal signalled by the sideline.
That was a daring shot.
Yeah, daring is right, but I can't remember who says it. Might even be the SAS or something. Who dares wins, basically.
Fair enough.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to play with fire and back your receivers.
Yeah, we've seen Kuchel take these shots just in front of the red zone time and time again. This time it's working out.
Yeah, just got it out there nice and early. Let the receiver run onto it rather than trying to force it to a player who was already deep.
Yeah. Close defense though.
Yeah, it was not far away, but far away enough.
Far enough. That works.
So 10-9 again. Colorado get their noses in front.
Just a tiny bit.
For those of you confused, why is a team from Germany called Colorado? It has nothing to do with America.
Oh no, it does not. There's. Do you know it, Benji?
Karlsruhe is where a popular confectionery manufacturer is based. Colorado is the name of one of their.
Their mixture.
Yes, I'm not going to name which one it is because they do not sponsor us.
Oh. Yeah, but the mixture of different things, like different sweets, is called
Colorado. Yeah. So that hopefully clears up that confusion. And you can probably do a bit of googling to work out which mega confectioner is based in Karlsruhe, but we won't say it as this is floated deep down the side, and there's a lot of sugar underneath this one. But rising above the pack this time is a defender for Colorado. It's Severin Kachel. Now Ketnaka comes underneath with those very fashionable windmill shorts. Resets into the centre. Everything looking a bit stagnant downfield. Here's the pass to Moore. Moore, another lefty. Floating it around the back. There's no real continuation here.
They look very stagnant now, Colorado. Up the line, definitely looking for a deep shot.
But this slow, patient style might suit Karlsruhe just fine. Oh, it's pinged off the fingertips.
And off the fingertips again for TMZ this time, and Colorado get it back.
And there's the hooter in the background. So this will be the last point. Can Colorado hold on for the victory, or will too many cooks fight back for the draw?
Very stagnant.
Yeah. Tries to take the timeout. You can't do that. The time's already finished. So, taking a timeout when there is not one to be taken adds 2 to the stall.
So I just heard a play from the sideline that he wants to do. If I heard that correctly, number 95, Renftler, is going to run to the power position that they're going to create right now. Pick off, but he got the disc, so I was right. Woo.
Isn't it handy having a German speaker on the sideline in the booth with us?
You tell me.
Yes, it's very handy. My 1 week of Duolingo has sadly almost entirely gone out the other side now.
That's a pity. But with names are really good, Benji. Doing a great job.
Dunker. Mostly. Kachel. Resets. It is a real grind at the moment, and it is clustered as well. Ooh, left it for one another. Eventually they just about get away with it. I'm not quite sure how, but it worked for Colorado. Back to Severin Kachel. Zinged through the center. Ketnaka. wants to break towards the far sideline. Really squared up to access that. Trying to get the eyes of the handler. Still rising, gets it off. And now zinged deep. This could end it, but it's too far and it's overshot. So TMC will have the disc with a chance to punch it in and finish on the draw.
Colorado is really trying to work off those power positions, but they're pushing it too much. Only moving when one of the two main handlers has the disc, and they have to create more opportunities than single ones. But I get that at the end of the game, you want to finish it quickly.
But yeah, you're right, you do want to finish it quickly, but possession is surely more important than time in this scenario. Regardless, they've given the disc back to too many cooks. Will they be made to pay for it? Too many cooks trying to play with a little bit of pace and urgency as well. Throw is low, but Lee got a hand underneath it. Disc on the far sideline, trying to shoot it through. Gets it through in the space. Sevenheisen. Upline cut goes, instead broken into the center of the park. Lee wants to pop the hammer over the top, and a little bit of pressure. Too many cooks come up with it anyway, and we're going to finish at tens.
So this is game at 10-10,
Yeah.
evenly matched. That's
Normally in ultimate draws, not possible, but here with Swiss draw, they're all above board. 10-all, final score, nothing to tell between Colorado and too many cooks. And so how that affects them going further on into the Swiss draw remains to be seen. We're going to wrap it up here. Coming up next on this pitch, we've got Devon up against Guayota. But for Christina Obermeyer, I've been Benji Rees, and we'll see you on the other side.
Start your game.